Fantastic. Welcome to the Business Spotlight. Today we are joined by Toni Sharp from My Travel Genie. Hi, Toni, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. It's a Friday, so it's always good. Weekend ahead.
It really is. We've got that Friday feeling today, for sure, for sure. Let's dive straight in. Toni, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and how long you've been doing it for.
Okay, so I've got a slightly unusual journey. I used to be a lawyer and I really didn't enjoy it. So I decided I'd start my own business in travel. So it was about 8, 9 years ago. I delved into it, no experience, just Googled a lot of WordPress stuff and wandered into a travel agent and happened to just get a job there. So that's how it all started. And then a couple of years after that, I started my own business in conjunction with Holidays Please. So it's my own personal business and it forms part of the Holidays Please umbrella. And I started booking people on amazing trips around the world. And that was 7 years ago yesterday I started doing that. So
Happy birthday for 7 years yesterday.
Lucky number, I think.
It is. There is a lot of luck around 7, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. What an interesting switch from law to holidays. That is such an interesting switch. I'd like to dive in a little bit more into that. And what motivated you to start the business? It sounded sort of quite accidental, but what was the interest with travel?
I've always loved travel, and I remember stepping on my first plane at the age of 7, and we went to Ibiza, San Antonio. Could you believe? So that was my first holiday abroad, and I loved it. And I remember when I was about 9, writing off to all the airlines, asking what I needed to do to become an air stewardess, cabin crew. We used to call them air stewardesses now. I don't think we do that anymore. But I wanted to do that job, and then I did really well at school, and my dad said, "Oh, you've got to pick something else." So I said, "Oh, I'll be a lawyer." Just after the hoop, and I did, because I'm quite stubborn, and if I got my mind set on something or I've said I'll do something, I really will. So I followed this law path and I qualified and I remained a lawyer for 10 years. And I was an employment lawyer. So I just got fed up with all the arguing and the injustice, and I thought, you know what, I'll go back to my passion. I love travel. And just to be able to wake up on a Monday morning and go into your job and not have that dread and not have that worry. We do have bad days, of course, like every other business, and there are difficulties and problems, as is always the case. But I love what I do, so it just makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, what do they say? They say that if you go to work and enjoy what you do, then it's not really a job. It doesn't feel like a job. No,
not at all.
exactly. No, and that's what we want. That's what we crave for. Absolutely. Has it been everything that you hoped it would be, Toni?
And more. I just thought, I know, and more. It's the job that keeps on giving. So I just thought, oh, I'll just go in and book a few people on some holidays. But what I've done is I've learned so much. So for me, I always love learning new things. And what I like about this job is it's not the same old every day. And I've got the sort of mind that I need to continuously be learning, developing, doing new things. So I've learned so much about the world, and I've been able to travel a lot of the world through my job, which I didn't really think about at the time. And I've met some amazing people, and it's such a supportive industry. I've just found a whole new group of people that I get on well with, I continuously learn and develop, and I'm making money. So it ticks lots of boxes.
Ticks all the boxes.
Yeah.
Where has been your favorite place to go? Where's been your biggest adventure?
I get asked that a lot, and it's so hard because the place that automatically springs to mind is South Africa. We had an amazing holiday there. Every day you're seeing something new. We've also had a recent trip to Sri Lanka, which was incredibly diverse, what you see and do there. And Belize last year, where we swam with sharks, which was quite incredible. So there's always an adventure around every corner in this job.
Oh, you're very brave to be swimming with sharks. South Africa's stunning. Are they lovely? Are they
lovely? They're so cute. Yeah, they are big, the ones that we swam with in Belize, but they're just so adorable. And they were being fed at the time, which might worry some people because you wouldn't want to get into the water when sharks are eating. But it was fine, and they just swam right past you, and you could stroke them a little bit if and they were fine. So yeah, it was lovely.
Oh wow. Oh my gosh, that is on my bucket list actually, so I'll pick your brain after here for heading over to Belize and swimming with sharks. Oh my god, I've just said that and my heart's jumped into my chest.
Well, you can go cage diving with them if you prefer in South
That's
Africa.
true. That's true. And you can be, yeah, and you can go in a cage. There are options. We'll talk shark. We'll talk
Perfect.
swimming with sharks, definitely. What is it that you do? What would you say that you do that makes you stand out in the industry?
I think it's all the little extra touches. So for me, it's not just about a transaction. Here's your holiday, here's your tickets, have a good time, goodbye. It's about more than that. It's about getting relationships with my customers, understanding what they want, getting into their skin and finding out what they like, what they don't like. And I have a lot of customers who come back to me time and time again. And the best thing about it, my business has grown through word of mouth because those customers have had such a great experience. So they will always get my WhatsApp so they can contact me before, during, or after their holiday. I've done FaceTime for people when they're on the beach. Through COVID, I did all the documentation, or I went through documentation with them, outlined the rules and regulations. I spent about 45 minutes with a client on a video call to Jamaica, going through his return form. So he had that confidence. And so it's all those little extra touches, writing to the hotel, making sure anything that is looked after. So if it's the birthday, they have a birthday cake, for instance, in resort. So it's little touches that I think make a holiday. It's not just about, oh, you're going to Spain for a week. You're going to have an amazing time, adding that extra sparkle.
Yeah, it sounds memorable. I know that whenever we go away, I always find it quite nerve-wracking to ask the hotel to put a birthday cake, or is there anything that we can do? I don't know why, it just feels really uncomfortable. So to have somebody that it's not a problem, you tell me what you need and I'll do it. I love that. And 45 minutes to somebody doing their return form from Jamaica. I mean, the comfort there is
And it's
wonderful.
knowing, I think the customers know that I'm available. So I took a call from New Zealand at, I think, 8:45 on Sunday night. I've had all sorts of calls, all sorts of hours of the day. And I don't know if this is a good thing, but I also work on my holidays as well. I try to minimize it, but I'm always there for people if they've got anything that I can help with. But we have a backup at head office as well, who are lovely, and they will be really helpful and supportive if something urgent crops up. But I just want my customers to know that I am there for them. I'm not on a call center queue. They don't have to queue up for hours, paying loads of money. They're going to get through to me. And that's how my business has grown, because they know they can trust me to deliver a good service.
Yeah, you've just given me the best entry to my next question though, because my next question is, how do you balance your personal life with the demands of running a business? And the fact that you answer messages on the beach is brilliant.
It's really hard. It's really hard. Yeah. I think when everyone is employed, when I was employed, I thought, oh, I can be self-employed, work the hours I want to work and do this and do that. But actually I work so many more hours, which I think a lot of self-employed people would agree. But because I love it so much, that's the hardest part, because I love it. So it's really hard to draw lines in the sand sometimes. But I do try and turn my notifications off in the evening. So I have the night off, but I am aware if customers are traveling to check my WhatsApp, because I always say, if there's a problem, come to me on WhatsApp. So then my mind is focused on one thing rather than all the pings I get off. And then I always have workouts at night. So I leave my desk and I actually go and do a workout. I have family time. I have time that I block out in my diary as appointments. So I have a Calendly link, which I think a lot of people do these days. And I can block out time just to focus on certain things. But yeah, I do love what I do. And the nature of my job is that people travel at all sorts of times, bank holidays, birthdays, whatever they are traveling. So I just know that's the nature of my job. And there is support available, but it is hard.
You love it so much. And when you want to provide that service, but I am hearing that you've got boundaries in place, so that there are boundaries, and that you do have your own time. So that's good. That's good. What would you say that you attribute your growth to?
I think it's consistency. So for me, weirdly, the pandemic was the best thing that could have happened to my business, even though it did not feel like that at the time. It felt like I was spinning plates and I could see them dropping and I was trying to catch them all. And in the end, I had to just let them all fall, smash to the ground and pick up the pieces and just show up every day, be busy, stick to a routine. and do the work. And we went away and traveled every year of the pandemic. So we went away 3 times so I could show my customers what was happening, what it was like to travel at the time. And then I sent customers away on holiday in the pandemic. And my business just blossomed from about October 21. It started to really move. And then last year I had my biggest year, and this year's surpassing last year. And it's that word of mouth, because people have said, well, I used to use this big company online and they let me down and I couldn't get the answers, I couldn't get my refund, and I trust you. So I've had a lot of that come to me, which has been brilliant. But it is consistency, showing up every day, doing a little bit every day, and not giving up. That, you know, I always say when you've got the storm going on outside, that's possibly a really good time, because what's coming out of the storm is the sunshine. And sometimes it's not a bad thing to be in that place, because as long as you keep on being yourself, keep on being true to who you are, there's sunshine that follows. And that has happened with the pandemic.
Oh, I think that's wonderful. I think that's wonderful. It too shall pass, as did the pandemic, as does every storm, and to wait for the sunshine or the rainbow at the end is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I love that you attribute your growth to consistency, because there is something to be said about being consistent and persistent. So I think that's a really great point, a really great point. What would you say has been your biggest learning in the 7 years? What would you say your biggest learning has been?
Oh my goodness. Stay calm. I think I've seen a lot of personal growth within myself. When things used to go wrong before, I would panic and think, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? Now, if anything goes wrong, it's all about solutions. So I've become exceptionally solutions focused in the last, I'd say, 3-4 years in particular. So it's okay, this problem, how am I going to deal with it? What are the answers? Because if you get flustered, you're going to get nowhere fast. Whereas if you remain calm, you look at the options, you can sort problems out. And I've learned that is to be the huge skill that I've been waiting for all these years when I've panicked in the past. And now I can do it. And I love finding solutions for people. And yeah, touch wood, it's doing me well. So touch wood.
Good one. What was your trigger point, or what was the turning point to staying calm? So controlling those emotions and controlling those thoughts. Do you have a tip or a trick or a solution? Yeah.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, first of all, is get your breathing under control, because I think your breathing naturally gets quicker. So I was always taught, when I was a lawyer, I went and did some learning about how to control yourself when you're about to go into court, for instance, or to do a presentation. And a lot of people get nervous. So there are a couple of tips and tricks. If you get nervous, the first thing is, if you're walking into a room, obviously this doesn't relate to this, but it helps other people who may have to present, is look up and then bring your eyes down rather than bring your eyes from the bottom up. But the biggest thing is breathing. So breathe, not from your lungs, but from your tummy, and really focus on pushing your tummy out and then bringing your tummy in. And because you're so focused on your breathing, you forget about what you're worried about. And then that just gives you a few moments to calm down and think, okay, this is what the problem is. Right, what we're going to do about it. And just try to be calm and process it methodically. And I had something that happened probably about a month ago where I had to do that, and the problem was sorted, and everything was actually better in the end than it was before the problem happened. It actually worked out really well. So I just think, if you're just calm yourself down first, process it, and think, right, what am I going to do? Don't get flustered, because you're not going to be able to do anything.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad I asked. That's such a great tip. That's such a great tip. Thank you. My final question, it's the biggest to end on. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? And what words of advice for other business owners would you give if they're looking to grow?
Okay, looking to grow, I'll start with that one first. I would say, don't be afraid to make mistakes. I know that's been said quite a lot, but please don't be afraid. Everything that you do in your life, or your business life, your personal life, it's all for a reason, and you can learn from everything. And I always have a big thing, I've always had it, never have regrets. There's things that have happened in my past history with work where where things haven't gone brilliantly, and I think, well, actually, if that didn't happen, I wouldn't be here today. So it's all part of that path, and it all adds to your learning. So don't be afraid to make mistakes, go for it. and just learn and move forward. Don't be afraid to let go and try something new. I think for me, I've gone from a lawyer's salary to pretty much nothing. That was a big leap, and it felt like diving off a diving board, and I wasn't sure if I was going to sink or swim. But I did it once and I swam, and now I'm not afraid to do anything because I know I can make anything work. So sometimes it's taking that leap of faith, putting your mental health first as well. Because people say to me, oh, well, I might not earn anything if I leave. And I said, yeah, but if you carry on doing what you're doing, if you are struggling mentally with what you're doing, the worst thing that could happen is you damage your mental health, which is worse than money. So always think about the whole picture and not just certain factors. And where do I see myself in 5 years' time? I've just been amazed that the growth in the last 2 years has been phenomenal. So I'm hoping that it just grows and grows and grows. And I can send even more people on holiday and possibly even have a little team, which would be really nice, because hopefully I'll be so busy, I'll need people to help me with the holidays. That would be the ideal.
Amazing. I love that view. I love that view. I think making memories and giving people the opportunity to make memories, building a team is wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing some insights and some of your business journey with us today, Toni. It's been absolutely amazing. Lots of learnings and lots of tips for business owners. So I can't wait to share this with our community. I just want to finish with a huge thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, Toni. Speak again soon.